Hello, everybody out there at IQMK Nation. This is Lynette Domingo. I am the author of Muscadine Lifestyle. And today I'm going to go over my secret to natural anti-aging. Okay, so let's see if I can get this thing to work and we can move forward. Okay, so actually, anti-aging is all about lifestyle choices. There are 4 simple choices that you can make to increase vitality and longevity. Let's start. The first choice, move that body. You know that. If you don't use it, you lose it. So there are 2 types of physical activity. There's moderate and there's also vigorous. So the World Health Organization suggests that you do 150 minutes of moderate exercise or 75 minutes of vigorous exercise every week, or a combination of both, to maintain your current health status. However, for additional benefits, like if you're trying to lose weight or if you're trying to correct an illness, you have to double those time frames. So we're looking at 5 hours of moderate or 2.5 hours of vigorous. Let me tell you where I'm at. What I do when I'm at home is I play volleyball, beach volleyball, 4 days a week. Sometimes 5, sometimes 6, but always minimum 4. So out there, I'm moving moderately for 4 hours times 4 days, that's 16 hours. On top of that, I usually dance at least 3 to 4 or 5 days a week. And when I do that, give me about 2 hours each time I'm out there of just vigorous activity. So that's 6 hours. So if you look at my level of activity, you're looking at 16 hours of moderate and 6 hours of rigorous activity. So that's how I maintain my level of activity as far as my energy level, my ability to keep a really long schedule, and only sleep 4 or 5 hours a night, and still have enough energy. Now, you also have to maintain some sort of muscle strengthening or anaerobic activity like weight training. I personally don't do any weight training. However, when you do exercises like push-ups, pull-ups, calisthenics, and you work on your core like you do leg lifts or crunches, you're working on resistance of your own body weight. So you can do that very easily, and they say to do that 2 days a week. And as a bonus, if you do any outdoor activity, that connects you to nature and you become more grounded, and it really helps you with your mental focus and your ability to mitigate stress. Now, for people that have prior health conditions, you should be advised by a health professional before you start any exercise program. All right. Healthy choice number 2 is eat nutritiously. Here's a little chart that you can kind of follow along. However, I want you to know that some of the guidelines that I'm going to give you are based on my personal choices, life choices. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're exactly some things that you need to be doing, okay? So first thing is my disclaimer. Each person needs to know their own body chemistry, needs to know what works for them, because sometimes what works for me isn't going to work for you. As a general guideline, though, you need to drink enough water. What is enough water? Well, again, World Health Organization states that for every pound of weight, you should drink anywhere between half an ounce to 1 ounce of water. So if you weigh 150 pounds, you should be drinking a minimum of 75 to 150 ounces of water every day. Now, some people do that, some people don't. Now, especially if you take supplements like Must Natural, you need to make sure that you have enough water in your system, because you need to make sure that the nutrients are getting to all of your organs and all of your extremities, like your eyes and your feet and your hands. Okay, so drink enough water, guys. Minimize sugar. increase protein and increase raw intake. So let's talk about minimize sugar. I'm not talking about, not eating cakes and things like that, right? Cookies. I'm talking about anything that turns into sugar when it enters into your body. It's a culprit called carbs. So when you eat rice, pasta, tortillas, bread, all of that, when it enters into your system, converts into sugar. So when I say minimize sugar, I'm talking about not just the white refined sugar or the brown sugar. I'm talking about sugar in the form of carbs. Okay. Increased protein, obviously. Some people like a lot of meat, and I'm here in the Philippines, we eat a lot of pork, but probably the best protein to eat would be fish. And there's some legumes and things like that, but also, legumes can be starchy. So when it comes to sugar isn't just in the form of rice and tortillas. It's also in the form of vegetables. So when you eat your vegetables, when I say increase your raw intake, I'm talking about green leafy vegetables. Okay, I'm not talking about edamame or peas, because that's all carbs as well. When I decided to go on the keto diet, one of the things that was the hardest thing for me to do was to give up fruit. Why? Because it's all sugar. It's natural sugar, but when it enters into your body will act as if it's sugar, regardless of the source. Okay, so for me, I made a personal choice to cut those things out of my diet in general. Okay, you have to eat enough good fats. Now, what are good fats? Okay, so you've got fats in like omega-3 fish, like salmon and tuna. You've got avocado. You've got nuts. Okay, those are the three main sources of good fats. Now, why do you have to have good fats? Because you need omega-3s to feed your brain. That's why a lot of people, as they get older, they start to lose brain function because they're not eating enough of the proper omega-3 fats. You have to avoid processed foods. Okay, so I don't know how they do it here in the Philippines, but in US, when you go to a market, everything that's processed is in the middle of the store on up and down the aisle. So if you go up and down the aisles, you get cereal and everything in a box. You shouldn't eat anything in a box. Everything on the outside are the vegetables and fruits and meats that don't come in a box. Okay, so just in general, you really shouldn't eat anything that comes in a box. Okay. Anything synthetic. For those of you that love grilled cheese sandwiches like I do, I love grilled cheese sandwiches, but typically they are made with American cheese. American cheese is not cheese. It's cheese products. So be careful, guys. When you go shopping, know what you're buying. When you're in the cheese section, look for something that's real cheese. If you pick up a product and it says cheese product, it's not cheese. And when you eat it, your body doesn't know what to do with it. And when that happens, it will create a inflammatory response within your body to try to get rid of this chemical that's not supposed to be in your body. Okay, so next thing, you have to abide by CR. I know it's CR here in the Philippines, it's comfort room, but no, that's not what it is in this particular situation. In my book, I talk about CR as a medical treatment. The ancients used to prescribe CR. What is CR in my book? Calorie restriction, better known as intermittent fasting today. So there are a lot of positive reinforcements that talk about the health benefits of calorie restriction. So that's another one of my eat nutritiously tips. And the last one is challenge your unchallenged convictions. And the reason why I say this, guys, is because for 30 years when I was teaching at the gym, I was teaching an average of 10 classes a week, up and down the step, doing Latin cardio classes, aqua classes, swimming classes. I taught when people asked me about my recommendation of how to lose weight and nutrition questions, I would always say, because this is what I've always been taught, I would always say, take 5 or 6 smaller meals a day. And because what it does is every time you start and stop your engine, just like in a car, the more you stop and start your engine, the more gas you use up, meaning in our situation, the more calories you burn. Well, I believed it because that's what I was taught. However, when I adopted the keto diet and I only eat 1 meal a day now, keep in mind, maybe I only eat 1 meal a day and 1 snack a day, but my 1 meal is more like a meal and a half to most people. So a lot of times when I go out with people and it's my 1 meal for the day, like it's at 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's my first meal of the day, I usually have more than what everybody else has because I know I'm not going to eat until tomorrow. Whereas they're probably going to have, a snack and have breakfast, which I'm not going to have. So the reason why I say challenge your unchallenged convictions is because you have to figure out within your body or your chemistry what your body can tolerate. Okay. Next thing, lifestyle choice number 3, eat must natural, right? What is must natural? Must natural comes from a fruit, a grape called muscadine. Muscadine has 20 pairs of chromosomes over every other grape that has only 19 pairs of chromosomes. It only grows in the southeastern part of the United States, which makes it really unique. And if you take a look at the picture right here on the in the middle of the screen, the skin is really, really thick, right? So it doesn't need pesticide when it's planted because pests can't penetrate that skin. They try and try and try, and all they can do is damage the skin, and then they give up because they can't get to the pulp, they can't get to the sweet stuff. So, but even if there's a pest that damages the skin, muscadine has the ability to rejuvenate its own skin and heal those wounds and heal those cracks in the skin. Okay. Muscadine has over 100 polyphenols. What does that mean? That means that each polyphenol has a different health benefit, and that's why it's so versatile as far as a supplement goes. Because when people ask me what does it do, I ask people what do you need it to do, and that's exactly what it's going to do. It's an adaptogen, which means it adapts to whatever situation your body is dealing with as a health challenge, and it will start working towards healing that specific thing. So of these 100 polyphenols, you've got things like quercetin, which earlier in the year and last year, scientists were trying to recreate quercetin chemically to add it to vaccines. Well, that's why I call this nature's vaccine, because it's got quercetin readily available and naturally in muscadine grapes. But the star polyphenol or plant chemical that everybody pretty much knows about is resveratrol. Now, a lot of people drink wine because of its resveratrol content. Well, I mean, you can get resveratrol a lot better by not drinking wine because wine comes from the pulp mostly, and the pulp doesn't have any nutrition. That's why we pull the pulp out of Must Natural. Must Natural contains seed and skin of the muscadine grape. That's it, seed and skin. That's all you get. So, but the interesting thing is that in every other normal grape, and also in muscadine, you will find resveratrol in the skin, but only in the muscadine grape do you find resveratrol also in the seed. That's why you get 40 times more resveratrol in muscadine grapes than any other grapes. So it's very, very powerful because the resveratrol, if you look it up, there's going to be words like anti-aging, there's going to be words like cell repair, things like that that help you keep your longevity. Okay. Lifestyle choice number 3, eating must natural. Let's go over why our brand is the premier brand that you need to be ingesting. Okay. First thing is that Must Natural only uses the top 2 varieties of the 18 varieties of muscadine grapes that are available. Most people don't know that there are 18 varieties. Well, we know because we make it our business to know. And we only use the top 2 that have the highest that have the highest amount of health benefits. Okay. Second thing, Muscadine only harvests once a year. So the grapes that are used in our Must Natural formulation are hand selected by our CEO, who happens to be have a very good relationship with the manufacturer, and the farmer that he goes over there when it harvests, and he hand selects what he wants, puts it aside, has it reserved for our company, Must Natural, IQMK Must Natural product. Okay. God is the ultimate pharmacist. Well, absolutely, God is the absolute best pharmacist, anywhere, because he created muscadine grape, and it's so powerful that we don't need to add anything. As humans, all we do is we pull out the pulp so that our friends that have are pre-diabetic or diabetic or have high glucose in their blood can also eat our muscadine. And the reason why I say eat is because that's what you're eating. You're eating the grape seed and skin without the pulp. And it's put in a vegetable capsule, so you can eat that too. Our formulation has been tested to be 70 to 75% bioavailable, which means your body can absorb it. Now, here's the biggest reason why I say that our product is very, very reasonably priced. A lot of people look at it and say, oh, it's kind of expensive. Well, okay, let's look at alternatives. You can buy muscadine, other brands of muscadine, anywhere in a vitamin store, or you can buy it online, and maybe it'll cost half of what our bottle costs. But guess what also is half? The bioavailability. Ours has been tested to be 70 to 75% bioavailable. I'm guessing the ones out in the market right now are in the neighborhood of maybe 25 or 30% bioavailability. So here's the thing, think about this. Yes, you can buy a lesser expensive, lesser potent product, but wouldn't you be wasting your money if that product isn't being absorbed by your body? Wouldn't you rather pay for something more expensive that actually goes into your body and does what it's supposed to do versus buying something that's less expensive and goes nowhere? It probably just goes straight into the toilet, right? Right when you eat it, it doesn't absorb and it goes straight through your body. So bioavailability, guys, this is one thing that you need to know why our product is supreme, supreme, supreme above all others, okay? Now, there is a $20 million Wake Forest Medical University 5-year cancer study that showed that muscadine has the ability to inhibit 7 different kinds of cancers. Yes, it does exist, and you will have other muscadine brands quoting that. But guess what? Must Natural has the exact same formula that was used in that study. We are the only company that I know of that is offering the same exact formulation that was given to the oncologists to create those studies. How do I know? Because the CEO of our company was with the company that supplied the sample to Wake Forest University, and we, Must Natural, have the same exact formulation. So if any other muscadine company quotes this medical study, you can say, well, we're the only formulation that has the exact same formulation. No one else can say that I know of. All right. So it does inhibit 7 different kinds of cancer: lung, colon, breast, prostate, skin, glioblastoma, which is brain cancer, and also leukemia, which is blood cancer. Now, guys, the reason why I started eating Must Natural was because of this study. Both my parents passed away from cancer, so it's on both sides of my family. And sadly, I do have several cousins that are suffering from the ravages of cancer in their body. So I wanted to do something to mitigate the probability that I was going to be a cancer patient. So, but within the next month after I started eating Must Natural, I was able to cancel knee surgery that I had scheduled because My knees were no longer inflamed and no longer painful. My ankles were no longer inflamed or painful. So there was something more that I was getting, not just the anti-cancer properties that I was taking it for. Okay, last thing. The company philosophy is in its name, IQMK. So let me tell you a little bit story about how IQMK came about. Our CEO, Mike, has been eating muscadine for 15 years. And I've been eating muscadine for at least 5 years. But our company is only heading towards our 2-year anniversary next month, right? So we haven't been around that long. How do we know that 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 what we're taking is the very best product possible? Well, let me explain to you the name of the company. Back in the day, Mike was representing another company, which was sold to a different company. That company, after they bought the rights to the brand, what they did was they started changing the formulation. They were buying less potent. Remember, we used the top two of all the muscadine varieties. They were using lesser potent muscadine varieties, and they were using less and less of it and putting more and more of the normal grapes. So those normal grapes don't have those 100, over 100 polyphenols. So it started not working. That's when our CEO decided, I cannot, in good faith, promote this product that no longer works because it has no longer the potency and the efficacy of the original product that he was taking and gave him healing and gave me healing. So IQ is, he started his own business because he wanted to have integrity to the quality of the product. IQ, integrity to the quality. And Mike has always been never a pushy type of person. His philosophy on life is you just teach people, you just share your story, and if you have what they want, which is health and longevity and healing and happiness, then they're going to do what you're going to do. So if you have a mindset of knowledge, that's all we need. We promote integrity to the quality of our product, and we have a mindset of knowledge. We educate. We don't sell, we educate. That's how the name came about, because of all the stuff that happened prior to. And when Mike decided he wanted to open his own company, these are the core values that he wanted to embrace: integrity, quality, mindset, and knowledge. Moving on. All right. So Must Natural. What are the main benefits of this Must Natural? The first one is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. Let's talk about that. There's two different kinds. There's acute and there's chronic, right? Acute inflammation is the good kind. Basically what that is like when you cut yourself, or when you have you bump into something, you have a bruise, the blood goes rushing to that area, the inflammation goes rushing to that area to heal it. And then when it's done with the healing, then the inflammation goes away, and then you put ice on it, and then then it goes back to normal. However, the other kind is chronic inflammation. If you do not control chronic inflammation, it will become and is the foundation for over 80% of the dread diseases that we know of today. Chronic inflammation leads to cardiovascular disease, neurological disease like Alzheimer's, dementia, bipolar, and then there's autoimmune diseases like Bell's palsy, Hashimoto's disease, fibromyalgia, rheumatoid arthritis, cancer, lupus, chronic fatigue syndrome, sexual dysfunction, guys. Yes, inflammatory response leads to sexual dysfunction. All right. So here are the factors that constantly trigger this inflammatory response. And you'll find out, guys, that it's all everyday daily stuff. So you're getting bombarded with this on a daily basis. You need to have your security against it, which is your Must Natural. Okay. Environmental stressors like smoke, air pollution, allergens. If you live in a very high toxic air quality area, If you live under a volcano, if you live near 5G towers, right, you're going to have a lot of this toxin attacking your body. If you consume foods that have pathogens or pesticides or herbicides or fungicides, almost everybody that eats food that's made from farms that uses all these pesticides, guess what? We all have pesticides in our foods that we're eating. Processed or fast food that are made with chemicals and trans fat that the body doesn't know what to do with, what happens is that forces the elimination process to begin, which creates inflammation, bloating, and that kind of thing, where you eat something that your body doesn't know what to do with because it's a chemical. It's a foreign chemical that doesn't belong in your body, like I was talking about in the last slide with that cheese product, which is, it's almost like plastic to me. It's very hard for your body to eliminate that. So you have to make sure that when you're forcing your body to go into this inflammatory response regularly because you're eating all this processed stuff, you have to understand that inflammation is going to become chronic, and it's going to lead to these dread diseases. So also heavy metals that are in the air, water, food, are you getting the picture here, guys? We are being bombarded with all of these toxins on a daily basis. When you have cleaning products in your house and you're spraying, things to clean your house, these are all chemicals that don't belong in your body, but you inhale them anyway, right? Also, the normal aging process. How do you get away from that, right? The normal aging process is when the white cells are mobilized to clean up damaged, infected, old, or dead cells. And when that happens, that creates inflammation. Again, you need something that's an anti-inflammatory just to keep you from suffering the consequences of normal aging process. And the last thing, which is sad, it's sad eating. What is sad eating? It's the standard American diet. The standard American diet is filled with all kinds of processed foods. It's, we live in a situation where we want everything fast. So what do? We put it in the microwave oven. That alone gives you all kinds of toxins and radiation, right? So what's the health benefit? Number 2, it is the highest ORAC scoring antioxidant. What the heck does that mean? Let's first talk about what an antioxidant does. They neutralize free radicals by donating missing electrons. See this little red guy? He's really angry because he enters into your body and he's missing an electron. He's really not a happy camper. So what does he do? He looks for these green guys, and the green guys have all their electrons in their pairs, and the free radical steals an electron from the stable molecule. Well, what happens to the stable molecule after the free radical steals their electron? Then they become unstable free radicals as well. What are antioxidants? Well, antioxidants are these components, these molecules that are naturally occurring within the human body, but you make nowhere near enough to combat all the free radicals that enter into your system. So the fact of the matter is, if you do not have enough antioxidants in your body, you will age faster than everybody else who does have enough antioxidants, okay? Because what the antioxidants do is they keep your cells from dying and aging, okay? So what does the oxygen radical absorbance capacity mean? That's what ORAC is, oxygen radical absorbance capacity. What that does is it measures a fruit's efficiency to complete that process of hindering the free radical from causing damage. Okay, so here's an ORAC score. Here's a couple of things you need to understand. Not all brands or formulations of Muscadine are created equal, okay? 895 ORAC is specifically what Must Naturals formulation scored. Remember, we use the top quality of everything, so our score is going to be higher quality. There's other Muscadine that are just, that are better than noni juice, which is 17, and blueberries, which is 77, and acai, which is 187, and mangosteen, which is 200, and goji berry. All of these things that you've heard that are magical fruits, they score in the 200s, and our score is 895, almost 3 times more, guys. So when you're looking at something that's going to help you repair your cells, that's going to help you keep your cells from being attacked by having high antioxidants in it, this is what you need to do. You need to eat your Must Natural. Now, here's a warning. You have to compare apples to apples, right? So the measurement of this ORAC scale is measured in micromole TE per 1 gram. Somebody came up to Mike and I and said, oh, well, yours isn't scoring that much. Look, I've got here, it says here, mine scores 1900. We were like, wow, 1900? What the heck is that? Let me take a look at it. But then when we looked at the small print, it was measured, the measurement was expressed as micromole TE per 10 grams. So for every 10 grams is what the score was. Well, if we compared apple to apple, then our score for every 10 grams would be 8,950 versus their 1,900, right? So when people tell you these things, you have to really look at what they're saying. Yes, it was 1,900 per every 10 grams. Ours is 895 per every 1 gram, which means if we compare it to same, apples to apples, again, if they were every 1 gram, their score would only be 190. Okay, moving on. Muscadine grape contains over 100 polyphenolic compounds. What does that mean? It's an adaptogen. An adaptogen manages daily stressors. What stressors are we talking about? Financial stressors, physical stressors, like, if you have any pain or illnesses, or if you've been in an accident, emotional stressors, like if you've got relationship problems. How about psychological stressors when you're having issues with your brain function, right? There's so many stressors, and what an adaptogen is it will enter into your system and decide where it's needed most. So let me give you an example. I started eating it because of the anti-cancer properties. How do you feel not getting cancer? You don't. So I really didn't expect anything from it, just the fact that I was trusting I was going to stay healthy because I believed in the $20 million clinical study on cancer. Well, within a month, I was able to cancel my knee surgery. Wow. Okay. So I didn't really realize that that was even possible, because every doctor I talked to, there were 3 of them that recommended surgery. They said anything that you take will not alleviate your pain and your need for surgery. I was taking glucosamine, MSM, chondroitin. I was taking all of the knee supplements, and I was just told, okay, you need to get surgery. That was 5 years ago. Still haven't had the surgery, still don't have knee pain, still don't have ankle pain. All right. And here's the importance of staggering your dose intake 3 times a day. Okay, people have told me, okay, well, I can take 6, but can I just take 6 all at one time? Well, yeah, you can, but it's not going to be as effective. Why? Because muscadine is an adaptogen. When it enters your body, it's going to decide what it needs at the moment. When I wake up, what do I need? I need energy. I take 3 capsules right when I wake up so I can be awake, right? I can have that activity. I can have that energy. But I also take 2 or 3 capsules before I go to bed, because the adaptogen in the muscadine understands that what my body needs at night is sleep. So it's going to give me a really, really good night's sleep. How does it do both? Well, the over 100 polyphenols are going to decide which polyphenols are going to kick in when I need it. That's why it's an adaptogen, and that's why you need to stagger your doses, because if you take it all in the morning, it's going to give you energy all the way through, but when it's time to go to bed, you're not taking any more muscadine, so it might keep your energy going. And on the other side, if you take all of it at night before you go to bed, maybe it'll give you a really good sleep, but maybe it'll keep you asleep way too long. right? So you have to know your own body. You have to kind of test it out. But what I'm telling you is that it's much more effective when your dosages are staggered. Okay. Third main benefit of IQMK's Much and Must Natural is that it's a very effective blood flow enhancer. What does that mean? That means that your good blood circulation is essential for bodily function as it supplies oxygen and nutrients to your organs. Okay, vision can be greatly improved when you have a lot of circulation going through your body. Most of the time, if you don't, it misses feeding extra nutrients to your extremities. That's why your hands and feet start to get numb when you don't have enough circulation, and your eyes start to go bad, right? Also, neurological function can be maintained until death. A lot of people think that, as you age, you're going to automatically suffer from dementia. You're going to automatically suffer from Alzheimer's. Not the case, not the case at all. If you eat enough omega-3 fats, because remember, your brain is 65% fat. If you eat enough omega-3 fats and you have good blood flow, then you're going to feed your brain, and your brain will never have to suffer from those cell death type of conditions like dementia and Alzheimer's and bipolar. Okay. Also, it keeps your heart and other organs nourished and healthy. Well, that's pretty obvious, right? But let's talk about the lack of oxygen and nutrients due to poor circulation. What happens then? Well, your muscles start to restrict and sometimes they start to atrophy. Maybe they start to shrink a little bit. And it could lead to all these crazy things like muscle pain, stiffness, and weakness. It also can lead to numbness in your leg and cramping in your legs and feet. Remember, I was talking about if you have bad circulation, it's going to lead to all of these different things. Now, when you have this, not only does it lead to physical ailments on the outside where you have pain, but you're also in risk of stroke and heart failure and kidney disease and some other stuff that's not really good that I'm going to mention right now. How about skin discoloration, rash, dryness, scaling? Okay, that's a result of not having enough nutrients feeding through your body. Okay, next thing, slower growing hair and nails. Somebody asked me, is there something that you really don't like about Must Natural? And I said, yeah, there's one thing. You know what the one thing is? That my hair and nails grow faster than they used to, which means I have to pay more money to go to the salon more often to get my hair cut and my nails done. So, hey, someone's got to deal with it, right? It's a good problem to have. And the last thing, guys, is that it actually really, really helps. We've gotten several testimonials that it helps improve sexual disorder, erectile dysfunction in men, and dryness in women. We've gotten reports, we've gotten testimonials from both sides, from men and women, saying that, wow, I don't know what this stuff does, but it's keeping my blood flow going and it's keeping the happiness in the marriage, right? We've had a couple of people state to us that this really saved their marriage. Okay, so now lifestyle choice number 4. Chill the heck out, guys. Don't sweat the small stuff. Just let it go. Be like water. Be fluid like water, not like a tree. When a water hits the tree, it hits the tree, and the tree just stands there. But when you're water and you flow around the reeds, right? You can travel around any obstacle when you are fluid like water. Who said that? Bruce Lee. Be fluid like water. He said that. Okay, so let's talk about stress. Stress is a ticking time bomb. It is a silent killer, guys, because you're stressed, but you feel like you can handle it. And really what's happening is that time bomb is ticking inside and you don't know when it's going to explode, right? Again, just like in the other situation with inflammation, there are 2 different types of stress, okay? There's acute stress. Acute stress is, something that we deal with every day. There's the most common, they're usually short term, there's usually immediate solutions. Like, for example, you're stressed out because something happened at the bank and your payment for your mortgage didn't go through. And so now they want to charge you a late fee for something that you feel like is not your fault. Well, if you explain it and you show proof, usually there's a solution to it. However, the second kind is much more long-term and is much more harmful. What is that? That's chronic stress. What does that lead to? Well, it's actually caused by ongoing financial shortness or poverty. You guys know, when there's more month left at the end of the money, that's not good, because we want to live to feel when you have more money at the end of the month, right? You want more money at the end of the month, not more month at the end of the money. So next thing, how about a dysfunctional family or an unhappy marriage? That's like ongoing stress. Those of you guys that, if you can't fix it, then maybe it's time to cut out what no longer serves you. Cut out what no longer serves you. Okay. Next thing, traumatic experiences early in life. Maybe you had a car accident. Maybe you experienced a death when you were younger. And these things that, your young mind just keeps seeing over and over and over again, and then you internalize it. Stress management techniques. Okay. I'm going to go over a couple of them. They're really, really good. Right. First one, get active, right? Stop. Don't just sit there. Move. Release those endorphins, those happy hormones. You got to release those endorphins. Move that body. Okay, next thing, commune with nature. Get in the sunlight, experience the ocean. Sometimes when I'm stressed out, I just go to the ocean, and hearing the waves just calms me down. Is that what it is for you? Or is it going into the mountains and smelling the fresh air? It's different for everybody. But do what you need to do to commune with nature, because when you get grounded to the earth, when you get grounded to the water and to the sky and to the air and fire, man, that's when you become your most powerful self. Okay? Relax. Guys, relax. Whatever it takes to relax. Some people use music. Like, I used to watch this cartoon called Tasmanian Devil, and he used to go, Tasmanian Devil, going all over the place. But then they would play this like really smooth classical music, and he would go like that. Is that what it is for you? Well, if that's what it is, do it. Get in front of it, right? You can do yoga, meditation, Tai Chi. How about just sitting there and breathing? Concentrate on deep breathing. That immediately can lower your stress level. You know what I do? I play volleyball. I go dancing. I get active. I do whatever I need to do, right? Also, have an attitude of gratitude. Control that negative self-talk. I'm not prone to being depressed or anxious because I'm so overly grateful for the life that I live, right? If you wake up, you need to be grateful for that. Yes, it's hard. Sometimes it is hard, but God gave you a day to prove how much you appreciate the life you are given. You appreciate the people around you that love you. You appreciate the beauty and nature that you're able to witness, right? Next thing, do something that you enjoy, some sort of hobby. Play with the kids, garden, anything that, that uplifts your spirit. Sing, dance, paint, right? Do something, get creative. Do something you enjoy. And the last thing, vent, right? Right? I mean, if you need to, vent. That's why it's so important to have a really good inner circle, that when something goes wrong, you can just vent to people that are closest to you, and they're not going to use it against you later on, when you're not in the venting mode. So be careful who you vent to, but if you need to vent, vent. All right. Must Naturals IQMK product has positively affects all body systems. Okay. So again, when people ask me, well, what does this stuff do anyway? My question to them, what do you need? Do you need increased energy? Do you need better sleep? It does both, increases energy and better sleep. I take it for both. Do you need better mental function? How about better modulated immune system? If your immune system is too strong, you might have autoimmune disease, which attacks your organs. So you have to have an immune system that's modulated, right? How about do you have trouble sleeping? Do you want to improve your sexual function, your sexual performance? Does that too. How about for diabetes and obesity? It lowers your blood sugar. It improves insulin sensitivity, protects from pancreatic beta cells, lowers your A1C so that your diabetes can be managed. Also, it promotes weight loss. I know for a fact that it promotes weight loss because when I started the keto lifestyle back 5 years ago, I started with 4 or 5 other people. They all quit because they could not stand the migraines and headaches and keto flu. I don't even know what keto flu is because I never got it. Uh, uh, that you suffer from intermittent fasting, meaning when you don't eat for long periods of time, for like 16, 20, 20 hours that you don't eat. So people were not able to mitigate that. I was. Why? Because I have anti-inflammatory in my bloodstream running. So inflammation is really not a problem in my body. What is headache? Inflammation. What is, when you don't eat, then you have a headache, that's inflammation. Okay, how about biological intervention? It also helps as an antioxidant, anti-aging, anti-cancer, liver detoxification, also with cardio health, stabilizes the blood pressure, increases blood flow, right? It lowers your cholesterol level, prevents plaque buildup in your arteries. And the last thing is that it protects from the environment. Guys, there's viruses and funguses and pathogens and bacteria that hit you on a daily basis. When you sanitize your hands, as many times as I've seen people do, you know what you're doing? You are putting your immune system to sleep. You are putting your immune system to sleep. It will not know how to protect you when you're not letting it get to when you're not letting the germs get into your system, so your body naturally knows how to handle it. When you're consistently and constantly sanitizing yourself, your immune system goes dormant. So, I mean, I sanitize, but like what? Once a week? Not like 15 times a day like I've seen people do. It's a little bit ridiculous. Okay, it also protects from UV radiation from the sun. I love the sun. When I'm at home, 20 hours, 16 hours a day in the sun, direct sunlight, no sunscreen. Why? Because muscadine protects from the inside out. It protects all 3 layers of dermis, hypodermis, and epidermis. All 3 layers of your skin is protected with muscadine. No need for sunscreen. All right. Last thing, protects from EMF damage. What is EMF damage? How many of you guys have one of these 5G powerful phones? Okay, so when I didn't want to get a 5G phone, but when it was time for me to upgrade, I didn't have a choice. The only options they had were 5G phones. So the difference between 4G is that the cell towers are up in the mountains. They're over there, right? And that's why it's not as powerful. But you know where the 5G phones are? They're on every 3 or 4 buildings. They're smaller, but they're closer. So I tell people, hey, you know what? When you go to sleep at night, plug this guy in and go into the other room and fall asleep. Do not fall asleep next to your phone, right? Guess what I do? I fall asleep while I'm on my phone. So that's why You need to have your Must Natural. What's my tagline? You need Must Natural. You need Must Natural. If you suffer from any of these, you need Must Natural. If you don't suffer from any of it and you want to maintain that, you need Must Natural. Either way, you need IQMK Global's Must Natural. Okay. Want to let you know, guys, that neither Muscadine Lifestyle or myself or the company intend to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any diseases. This is just for medical advice. We're not giving medical advice, and it is just for educational purposes only, okay? The information in my book is derived from hundreds of clinical trials, as well as my personal experiences and those of people that I have seen go from illness to wellness after their Muscadine usage. One thing that I always tell my people that they need to do, one of my friends told me this, and it's very, very poignant. I always quote it. There is no way you can manage what you don't measure. If you don't measure it, how do you know if you're getting better? When you start taking Must Natural, when you start eating it, maybe you feel horrible. 3 weeks later, somebody asks you, how do you feel? You feel great. Well, feeling horrible to feeling great, that's not measurable. But when you say 3 weeks ago, my pain level was at a 10, and now it's at a 3, that's measurable. Versus I was at a 10 and now I'm at a 5, or now I'm at an 8. From 10 to 8 is not as good as from 10 to 3, right? So manage it by measuring it. So what I do is, before I have anybody start on it, I go over this with them. I tell them it only takes like 5 minutes. Measure yourself. Give yourself a score yourself on how you're doing all of these: general health, fatigue, mental function, mental clarity, headaches, body pains. And then with the gastrointestinal, how about gas and bloating? Do you have diarrhea? And these are things that people don't necessarily think about when they're starting to take a supplement. They don't know that Must Natural is going to improve. Must Natural has the ability to improve all of the systems. So if you're a woman and you're still menstruating, do you have pain? Measure that. Do you have hormonal issues like hot flashes or mood swings? Measure that. Are you at a 10? And then again, I've had people tell me, man, this stuff really saved our marriage, because before it, the mood swings were at a 10 and now they're at a 2, right? How about you guys? Do you have urinary pressure and pain or flow problems? You know what that means? That means you probably need to get your colon in check, right? What's your blood sugar? What's your blood pressure? What's your weight if you want to lose weight or gain weight, right? So if you track yourself, it's so much easier to come up with a testimonial at the end of it. It's so much better than saying, oh, 3 weeks ago I was feeling horrible, and today, 3 weeks later, I'm feeling better. You know what's much better? 3 weeks ago, my pain level was a 10. Today, it's at a 2. That is measurable. Manage by measuring. You cannot manage anything you do not measure. You cannot manage anything you do not measure. So make sure you measure, measure, measure. Okay. Now, testimonials, guys. If you're looking for more testimonials, go to muscadinelifestyle.com. It is our YouTube channel. And you'll see the guy who went from blind to 90% vision in his eye. He went completely blind to 90% vision in that eye. There's also an anti-viral study that was done in North Carolina that showed that Must Natural or Muscadine has the ability to fight every virus, even the one that we just encountered the last couple of years that wreaked havoc around the world. Here's a guy called the Box of Illness. He had asthma, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes. He had a cyst in his groin. I mean, he had everything. The doctors called him a box of illness. When he started eating Muscadine, Must Natural, ooh, my goodness, all across the board of his symptoms subsided, right? He cut down his medication to half, right? Okay, how about Bell's palsy? You know what Bell's palsy is? That's when the left side of your face gets paralyzed. Why? Well, I don't know. They don't know the exact cause of it, but in this situation, our gal here, she was told that it was a normal kind of reaction, and she was given medication, and they had her on Vicodin. You know what Vicodin is? That's a very powerful pain medication, and none of that was helping. 4 months later, she was still suffering the same pain and the same inflammation. 3 days, count them, 1, 2, 3 days on Must Natural. The inflammation was gone, the pain was gone, and she's a much happy camper now, right? Tanya's our gal in Florida who had the famous X-ray that the X-ray that I show with the spine with the 3/8 inch gap in the spine. She avoided back surgery. How many people out there who are suffering so much pain on their back need back surgery? Well, after 3 weeks on Must Natural, she canceled her back surgery. And then, of course, there's me, my story, how I relieved my joint pain and canceled my knee surgery. All right, so muscadinelifestyle.com. If you guys need any specific testimonial on a specific thing, then let me know. And if I have the link, I will definitely send it to you. Otherwise, just go to muscadinelifestyle.com and be familiar with what's on there. Also, be familiar with your own testimony and other testimonies around you of all of your customers and fellow distributors. All right. Thank you so much. I really hope that you were able to learn a little bit from me today on significantly increasing your vitality and longevity. This is our array of products at the moment. We've got our flagship capsule, which is what you need in your system all the time, every day. There's the extract for those times where you need a little extra a kick of health. We have the coffee, which, our motto is don't change your habit. Those of you that drink coffee, don't change your habit, just change your brand, because our brand is much more powerful and non-acidic. What I've heard, guys, is that there's all my friends that are caffeine sensitive and cannot drink coffee because it's too acidic, love our Muscafe. So try it. And then there's also the jam, the muscadine jam, the Must Natural jam. And what that is muscadine and honey. And if you're hungry and you want like a quick little snack, take a little bit of that and you won't be hungry. And then there's our juice. All right. All right, guys. Well, next thing you need to do is you need to contact the person who sent you this video, right? Because that's the person that's going to get you to the products and get you to the place where you need to be. So I think that's it. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. And I hope that you are able to squeeze out a few of these pearls of knowledge and use it in your own life and in the lives of your friends and family and customers. All right, guys. So this is my time. I'm peace out. I want to encourage you to stay happy, healthy, vibrant, grateful, and blessed. Happy, healthy, vibrant, grateful, and blessed. See you guys later.